Atomic habits are the tiny, invisible changes that shape our lives. Small habits grow into big results, compounding over time. Focus on the system, not the goal, for lasting success.
On the final day of his sophomore year, James Clear was hit directly between the eyes with a baseball bat. The impact crushed his nose, fractured his skull in multiple places, and sent his brain slamming against the inside of his head, forcing him into a medically induced coma. When he finally woke up, the recovery was brutal. He struggled with double vision, suffered post-traumatic seizures, and was eventually cut from his high school varsity baseball team. In an instant, his identity as a star athlete had been stripped away. 2 years later, he started college. But he didn't try to reclaim his life with sudden, heroic leaps of willpower. Instead, he relied on routines that almost sound too small to matter. Going to bed early, keeping his dorm room tidy, and lifting light weights a few times a week. Over the next few semesters, those tiny routines stacked on top of each other. By his senior year, he had bulked up to 200 pounds, became the captain of the baseball team, and was named an ESPN Academic All-American, an honor given to just 33 players in the country. His recovery suggests that shifting the trajectory of a life is the result of tiny wins and gradual micro-evolutions. Clear eventually outlined the exact mechanics of this process, proving how small choices compound into remarkable results. To see the math behind this concept at scale, look at British cycling in the early 2000s. Their performance had been incredibly poor for nearly a century until they hired a new coach named Dave Brailsford. Brailsford brought a strategy he called the aggregation of marginal gains. His philosophy was to break down every single component of riding a bike, from the aerodynamics of the suits to the massage gels used for muscle recovery, and improve each one by just 1%. The math of getting 1% better makes perfect logical sense. But in our actual daily lives, logic usually fails. We know small improvements work, yet we still spend 2 hours doom scrolling on the couch, while the idea of meditating for 2 minutes feels like an impossible chore. This disconnect happens because we obsess over the end goal. We focus on wanting to be skinny or wanting to write a book, completely ignoring the underlying psychological machinery that actually dictates our daily actions. Clear's definitive rule for this is simple. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This diagram illustrates that system. It shows the continuous 4-step neurological feedback loop that runs in the background of your mind, constantly scanning your environment to figure out what to do next. The cycle starts with the problem phase. First, there is a cue, like your phone buzzing. That small bit of information instantly creates a craving, which is simply the desire to change your current internal state. You don't crave the phone itself. You crave the feeling of relief or entertainment it provides. That motivation pushes you into the solution phase. You then take a response, picking up the phone, which delivers a reward. The reward satisfies your craving, and your brain logs that action as something worth repeating the next time it hears a buzz. To take control of this loop, Clear built the 4 laws of behavior change. Law number 1 is make it obvious. If you want to build a good habit, put the cues right in front of you. Leave your running shoes by the door. If you want to break a bad habit, hide the triggers. Law number 2 targets the craving. Make it attractive. You can manipulate your motivation by pairing an action you need to do with something you naturally want to do, linking a high-friction task to an immediate hit of dopamine. By engineering obvious cues and attractive cravings, you stop relying on raw willpower. You structure your environment so that positive action happens automatically. The 3rd law tackles the response. Make it easy. Biologically, humans are wired to conserve energy. We naturally follow the law of least effort, meaning when faced with 2 options, we will always gravitate toward the path of least resistance. You can hack this biology using the 2-minute rule. Downscale a massive goal until it takes almost no energy to start. Don't commit to running a marathon, commit to tying your shoes. Taking the smallest possible action eliminates the friction of starting. This chart shows the evolutionary mismatch that ruins most habits. The 4th law is make it satisfying. Our primitive brains demand instant gratification, visualized here by that steep, immediate spike for bad habits. But modern goals, like saving for retirement, offer delayed returns, shown by the flat curve. The good feeling takes too long to arrive. This leads to the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. You have to invent instant gratification for good habits. A technique like moving a paper clip from one jar to another every time you make a sales call gives your brain the immediate, visible hit of success it's looking for. While the first 3 laws ensure a behavior is performed today, ensuring the reward is immediately satisfying is the only way to guarantee you will repeat it tomorrow. These laws reveal a deeper layer to behavior. While we often obsess over outcomes, the six-pack, the bank balance, or the tidy house, those are just lagging measures of the system itself. Long-term change is rooted in identity. You prioritize becoming a reader over simply finishing a book, allowing your actions to stem from who you believe you are. Every single time you execute a tiny 2-minute habit, you are casting a literal vote for your new identity. You don't need a unanimous election to shift your self-image. You will still have bad days and cast votes for your old self. You just need the majority of the daily votes to tip the scales. By mastering the 4 laws of behavior change, we stop fighting our own biology. Instead, we use the compounding interest of atomic habits to forge the exact person we were meant to be, one small vote at a time.
Atomic habits are the tiny, invisible changes that shape our lives. Small habits grow into big results, compounding over time. Focus on the system, not the goal, for lasting success.